Yo, do us a favor and yourself a favor by hitting that subscribe button. Make sure to tap that notification bell as well so you can stay updated. Now let's get to the video. You're tuned in to iLLANOiZE Radio, Chicago's most valuable radio show. I'm your host, B Gold, alongside my brother, iLLANOiZE Jones. And as always, we bring you all the illest guests from around the city and globe. And today, we got Ashley Nícole in the building.
Welcome. You fly as shit.
You know, I came prepared for y'all today.
Who did this for you now?
King B. That's the fashion designer that I manage here in the city of Chicago. She's amazing. Honestly, this is a custom piece of hers, and she has many more.
I saw some red dress she did. That shit was raw.
Yeah.
I damn near want to say, can you get up and show the camera, show off your fit?
Is it? Now look how good.
Is that a one of one?
This is a one of one.
Oh,
damn!
Do your thing, King B.
She's doing her thing for sure. I'm very proud of her.
Now, how did you, before we even get into all things, how did you and King B, connect?
So, interesting enough, so there's this DJ. His name is DJ D93.
Shout out to DJ D93. You can hear him on iLLANOiZE Radio every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right
Rush
here.
Hour.
Yeah.
So that's my best friend. And so he's best friends with her. And then that's how I met her. So I met her through him. And essentially, she saw that I was managing Rico, and she was like, man, like, I love your work. I think you're doing amazing. Like, I would love for you to manage me. And I was like, okay, this is different because I'm used to managing, like, artists. You know what I mean? Like, in the music industry, not in fashion. So I was like, is this going to be a challenge? And it really wasn't. I mean, we were able to get her to New York Fashion Week. You know, she's also being opted into Paris Fashion Week as well. She just had her fashion show in January, completely sold out.
Shout out.
And then we had, like, What's the Word there. We had WGCI there. We had another beautiful fashion designer, Chelsea B, there, who's also skyrocketing here in the city of Chicago, too. So, you know, it was really great. So I love her to death, but it's been a really great ride with her.
And you said she asked you to manage her.
She did. She asked me to manage her. Yes, she did.
When anyone comes to you, whether it's artist, creative, what's the first thing you look at before even deciding, like, okay, let me take this role on and be your manager?
Passion.
Okay.
If you don't have passion, I can't work with you because I have so much passion for music and the things that I do personally. Like, if you don't have it, I can't do it. I'm sorry. If it don't move me in a spiritual way and even in like a mental way and just how you carry yourself, like what moved me to manage her was one night she was doing a dress and she literally was like at the sewing machine and she was falling asleep and nobody said anything and she woke herself up and then started sewing again. I was like, oh yeah, I got to work with her.
That sound dangerous.
That's how I would have fucked my hands up. I would have fucked my hands up.
But like she was so driven to get it done. I was like, oh, she's gonna do whatever she can to ensure that she has quality pieces out there. And that's what I saw, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna automatically work with her. So as soon as she asked me, I said yeah.
Damn.
So when was it that you recognized that you had a passion and this passion for music and want to manage people?
It started off when I was younger, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I've grown up around music, you know, so I don't really speak about it as often, but my father managed R. Kelly. And so because he managed R. Kelly and he was already in the music industry, and they grew up together as children. So my father, he used to be a tap dancer. And R. Kelly was singing in the Red Line train stations. So my dad would tap to him and create a beat for him with his feet while R. Kelly was like singing.
And on the station.
Yep, in the station. So, you know, it pretty much started there. And then on top of that, like my great-grandfather, he was like a drummer behind Chaka Khan. So that was also a thing, along with my uncle being an opera singer and traveling all over the world to sing music. And he also started in Salem Baptist Church. So it's always a story
you got a lineage of just talent and creativity.
It's hereditary.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, though, I feel like that's how it kind of always starts. You know what I mean? But for me, it was always like the great-grandma who came in and was like, oh, that baby can sing. You know what I mean? And so I started singing first.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, I'm definitely loving the vibes of being an artist. Then it was complications with me being an artist because, like, I know most women probably go through this in the industry, but, like, so many men was, like, hitting on me. And I really hated that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to command respect another way. And so how I commanded that respect was I went to school for business management and international studies. And then that transitioned into me being an artist manager. So that's why I'm here today.
Hey, now hold on. Hold on. Now, before we get in the break,
Yeah.
what fueled your passion to even start your music journey in the first place? Was it in a way, due to you having it hereditary, like just having it in you and being around your pops and just your family in general, or like they push it on you, or is it just something you was just like, I want to really do myself?
I wanted to do it myself, but interesting enough, an artist that really motivated me was Bobby Brown. I just loved how he performed. And then I also loved the courage and the attitude that he just carried himself around. And so I grew up on that music because I have a young family. So growing up on that music and then also just seeing like how people related to music at a very, very young age for me, like really stuck with me. So that's what really drove me into saying like, you know what, this is something that I want to do. But I always say music is literally my first love, like genuinely.
Literally.
Yeah.
How old were you? Do you remember when you first hit your first note?
I have good memories. So I was probably 5. I was around 5 years old. My grandmother, she put me in Salem's Baptist Church to sing in the choir with her. And then the rest is history.
Can you like break down Salem Baptist Church for those that may not know?
Yeah, so Salem Baptist Church was on the south side of Chicago. It was ran by Reverend Meeks. And I believe that had to have been like, for me, that was probably like the late 90s to the early 2000s when I was an active member in there. And then pretty much the rest of my family, like they were also active members there at the church too. But Reverend Meeks, he actually was seeing how I was singing and how I was moving. He actually gave me my first guitar.
Shout out Reverend Meeks.
Yeah.
Did you use it?
I did use it. I did use it as a kid's guitar, but he wanted me to practice. So yeah, but honestly, like a lot of people around me, especially the OGs and the elders, they saw a lot in me. So after they saw a lot in me, I started to see a lot of myself.
It's your girl, Pretty Right, and I need you to do one sminy. Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Pretty Riot, and I just need you to do one small favor for me. Head on over to your app store, search iLLANOiZE. Hit the first thing that pops up because we the one and only, and download the iLLANOiZE app.
For the break, we was talking about you getting a guitar from the pastor,
Yeah, Reverend
Meeks.
Reverend Meeks. And I know, man, you had a conversation the last time you was here about tap dancing and all this other stuff and a lot of other instruments. I want to know, like, how many instruments do you know how to play?
Okay, so we have
Is that many?
we got the guitar, we have the piano, we have the flute, and we have percussion, the drums. I'm in the process of learning bass right now. So that's 5 instruments.
She cold, y'all.
What's your favorite out of the 5?
Oh man, honestly, the bass has been my favorite.
Really? Let me see your hands. Okay. Because I feel like I want to see if your hands was like small because I've heard like bass is kind of difficult for women to play.
Yeah, bass is difficult for women to play. However, I just love the sound of the bass because I mean, bass is in a lot of music, so that's an instrument that really pulled and gravitated towards me. But outside of that, piano is also another one that I love. So yeah,
You're so multi-faced. Oh my God. Damn. I mean, and then you've learned you're a vocal coach.
yes,
You teach vocals.
yes.
How is that for you teaching others how to, get their vocals right? Because I'm on that edge. I'm trying to do a beat on what is it, R&B co? So
Not Arabica.
can you give me a couple notes I can practice on?
Gotta get your me's in first, folks.
Oh, your do-re-mi's, okay? But honestly, you know what? I really love teaching people how to train their vocal capability. And I've been doing it professionally now, I would have to say, for 9 years. So I did vocal training professionally first at Complex 2010. Shout out to KX. That's one of my amazing mentors. And he entrusted in me to take over that department at 2010. And so ever since then, like, it's just been skyrocketing to the point where now I'm the official vocal coach at Classic Studios. So shout out to Chris Classic for locking that down. And I also teach at Roberto Clemente as well. So I'm the site coordinator and music mentor there at Clemente. And I teach vocals, music production, songwriting, and then piano. So with the vocal coaching, honestly, like, I just find I realize I'm a helper, and I'm also a giver. So with that being said, I didn't want to be in the spotlight anymore by like doing what I've done in my career. And I just kind of transitioned into being the person that's like, you know what, let me help you strengthen your vocal capability. And I actually had a vocal coach. Her name is Lana Manson. And she was so strict on me when it came to like teaching me music. She taught me how to sing opera. And so I had to learn classical pieces because when I went to Mother Macaulay High School, you had to learn a classical piece and you had to know how to read music. And so she was like one of the main factors of me like advancing my skills when it came to music. And so from then on, that's how it transitioned for me to be a vocal coach. She really inspired me in that space.
Have you ever took somebody that had no vocal skills
I'm talking.
to like Luther Vandross?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I have.
I always want to be an R&B singer.
Real talk.
I mean, honestly, like, realistically speaking, pretty much everybody has some type of rhythm and singing tune.
It depends on what song.
Exactly. But for me, what I do is I sharpen that. You know what I mean? So when it comes to pitch correction, ear tuning, all of that, like, those are the things that I implement. And of course, using the diaphragm is one of like the main things all of my students and teachers have taught me. And that I have taught too. So yeah, so those are one of the main things that I teach in my lessons.
Do you have like a website or anything where people can reach out for vocal coaching?
Yeah, so actually I'm about to make the official announcement on Monday that I'm working at Classic Studios. So I'm really excited about that. And then my website will be posted there.
Hey man, hold on. How do you find time for yourself, Ashley? Like vocal coaching, managing.
Yeah.
And then you also like help plan events and things of that nature, which we're gonna get into as well.
Yeah.
So like, how do you find a balance and still maintain your creative expansion?
So I'm actually in the process now of finding a balance, only because I realized that I was overexerting myself. And then I also realized, like, man, like, you're actually a jack of all trades. Like, you doing pretty much everything. And so what I decided to do was, like, I take certain days to myself and I tell my clients, like, listen, if it's an emergency, like, hit me up and let me know what's going on. But I need to rest, you know what I mean? So that I can be present for you. You know, rest is key when it comes to doing anything in this business, especially being a manager, being an artist, being anything in entertainment. Like, you need to get your rest. And I still need to look pretty. So, rest is natural for me.
What they say, gotta get your beauty sleep.
Yes, get in the beauty sleep for sure.
For sure. I wanted to know, since you are a vocal coach and the training that you give other singers, with today's music, everything is digital.
Yeah.
Notes is not a big thing.
Yeah.
We come from an era where all the good singers come from a church. Nowadays, and that's where you learn most of your notes.
That's where I came. Yeah.
Nowadays, nobody's learning notes. No,
Yeah.
everybody's auto-tuning. Like, how do you, as a coach, try to teach these young folks that, no, this matters?
So as you're talking about generation, so the thing about our generation is you have to work hard to get to where you're at. Right. And so that's what I teach my kids and even adults. Like, you have to work hard to be a really dope ass vocalist or lyricist or whatever the case. Because I don't just teach vocalists. I also teach rappers too on breath control and everything of that nature, right? So I think that it's very important for singers to be patient with their process when they are singing. And I also think that it's very important for people to realize, like, if you really want to be the best, you're going to have to learn this stuff. And the thing is, the position that I'm in, a lot of singers in this city want vocal coaching. Like, I have spoken to so many artists that have reached out to me to try and help them with vocal coaching here in the city of Chicago. So I think it's necessary, and I think when you're a true artist, you know it's necessary. But in today's society, like, unfortunately, everything is coming easily, hence auto-tune, hence digital, right? But it's just like, it's a different feeling that I feel like the audience or like people's fans will have when you can actually sing to them, like a Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey, or like Whitney was a dope ass vocalist. Man. Can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
Dope ass vocalist.
Not a curse word, okay?
You know what I mean? Like, so dope. So it's just like, it's a lot of people who want to be at that, you know what I mean, when it comes to being a vocalist. So, I mean, what I'm doing is necessary, and I think they know that.
Is your business struggling? Trying to get your followers up? No problem. You can advertise with us right now. Tap that link above. Now let's get back to the show.
Now that you're, we talked about your music, the instruments that you like to play, and how you like to conduct yourself in the professional business realm when you're in the classroom, teaching people how to hit them notes. As a manager, like, how do you, like, I want to say, because you kind of put your talents to the background to manage people.
Yes.
And a lot of people can't do that. Like, what was something that you had to tell yourself was like, I'm going to focus on giving people a service versus serving myself?
Honestly, I think what stemmed from it was I realized that I just wanted to be a background person. Like, I wanted to be behind the scenes when it came to anything pertaining to the music industry. Being in the limelight is great, but it's only meant for certain people. And so I'm the manager, I'll say, to fulfill that limelight that these artists have, right? So as managers, we have to set ourselves aside when it comes to that. Like, it's not about us. Right. And when you get into management, like, you have to realize, like, it's not about us. The best thing you can do is command respect when it comes to business and locking down deals as a manager. But it's mainly about the artist. I mean, and, with me managing B and also managing Rico, like, I understand that. And they understand that. So it allows them to be an artist, and it allows me to do my job as their manager.
Is being a manager, does that bring any type of excitement?
Excitement?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, because I really like seeing the creative process of everything. And then on top of that, like, I'm a boss when it comes to locking down deals and negotiating. So that's something that I really, like, strive in. That's something that really gets my, like, blood pumping for sure.
I know you said in the beginning of the interview that you didn't want to sing anymore and be on the center of the stage because you felt like a lot of guys was hitting on you.
Yeah.
So now that you're a manager and, like, you're in, like, it's a dominant male sport. So it's like, do you still feel like that you get that attention, or do you demand a respect?
So I actually demand a lot of respect more as a manager than I did as an artist, which was so interesting to me.
Why do you think that is?
I think because as a manager, you're kind of that individual that already has everything in control, and you're the gatekeeper for your artist, right? Compared to the artist, they're looking for gatekeeping to help them through this successful process of being the artist that they're supposed to be. So instead of me saying, you know what, I'm going to be on stage, I was like, I'm going to be a peer, and y'all don't have no choice but to respect me. And as soon as I did that, like, I started to meet, like, OGs that were also managers and stuff like that. Like, Mickey Halstead was definitely a person that motivated me a lot. And then KX from Complex, He became a mentor for me. Ad2 also became a mentor. So like all of these men that are already in this industry, they became my mentors, but they respected me from the jump. Like when I worked at Complex 2010, that was the first time I worked in music where I had never been hit on, because they saw me as a peer, like they saw me as one of them, and we were like a complete unit in that space. And so with Classic, like I'm able to work with him because it's the same level of respect. Like we also share the same values when it comes to like family, music, and just getting shit done.
As a lady in this male dominant space,
Yeah.
looking to claim, you know, their respect in general.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about claiming and owning that respect within the industry?
Claiming and owning the respect in the industry is ensuring that you can get things done. If you just all talk, like, then they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, this is just another girl who's just trying to do something, or she probably somebody's cousin trying to, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you're equated to. But, like, when you're actually able to lock down deals, get things done, have the right conversations, be in the right rooms, then they have no choice but to respect you, because it's like, oh, she's dedicated, she's hardworking, she's actually getting things done. And even in the space, I don't even have to be assertive in that space. I just have to do what it is that I'm supposed to do and what I know I'm good at, which is managing. So with that being said, like, that's how it's been easier for me in these spaces. Yeah.
Has there ever been a time where you were uncomfortable in a space?
As a manager?
Yeah.
Nope.
I want to know, because you named some great managers that you've came across. Being that we all from Chicago and we've witnessed this music industry here goes from up and down, up and down. I want to know some of the conversations, if you could share at least some of the conversations about the building of the industry here in Chicago, or do y'all even talk about that?
Yeah, we do actually have those types of conversations. So what I've noticed with, like I was just talking to Chris the other day, and like I've had these conversations too with Ad here and there. There's something about Chicago where this crab in the barrel mentality is really prevalent, right? But it really takes unity in order enough for us to succeed. And so that's why, you know, being someone who's a music advocate is extremely important. And most of these managers are music advocates. I was also having a conversation with Dex Millions literally 2 days ago. And he said to me, like, sometimes, you know, people will come and ask him to manage them, but he'll be like, you know what, like, if I don't see the passion, or if you feel like you know it all as an artist, then there's no purpose of me being your manager. And I've had that conversation with Rico, and I've had that conversation be like, if you don't feel like I can service you in any space, in this relationship can't work, because obviously you feel like you have it together. But it takes the artist and it takes the manager to be in a cohesive space and say, you know what, we have to work together in order enough for us to get to where we need to be. So I think if those conversations are had more between not just myself and other managers, but also managers and their artists, I think that there will be an uprise. I think that managers here in the city of Chicago feel like that there's going to be an uprise, but I also feel like they've been expressing this level of, they give so much energy that they don't receive in return. And it's a little sad, because like a lot of these people have worked extremely hard to make all of these people that we know known, that's mainstream. So it's just like, it kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a manager is kind of like how producers, engineers, and songwriters are mistreated in the industry sometimes. So I think that in these next few months to few years, I'll say there's going to be a spark in the Chicago culture, especially when it comes to music. And I think that it's going to put us on the map for something really big.
And why do you say that?
I say that because there are a lot of amazing artists out here. Asar, like we was just talking about, like he's been going crazy. Femdot, Rico Shy, obviously, like he's really been in the studio, like going stupid when it comes to creating albums. And even these producers like Seasick and DJ L and There's also like a few songwriters and stuff like that that's in the city of Chicago that have been going crazy too. Like, you know, some of the songwriters I know, they got like placements on like these major TV shows as well. So it's just like, I think something is about to happen.
See, you naming all these incredible artists that I feel should be known internationally.
I agree.
So I say that to ask you, you're in these rooms. What do you feel is blocking the Chicago industry from, you know, being more internationally known in certain aspects?
People wanting things for themselves. I think that when people want the spotlight more than the person that's supposed to have the spotlight, or when the people who have the spotlight are using others, I think that's where the disconnect happens, right? There isn't like this give and take situation when it comes to the Chicago community. There's just take, or give. And so because it's take, and give, we're at this halt. You have LA. If you go to LA, everybody is supported. Like, I done been in so many writing sessions and rooms in LA where everybody's like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a music manager, I'm a songwriter, I'm a this. Oh, that's what's up. I'm also a songwriter myself. Well, I could patch you in with this person and so on and so forth. That's not always happening here in Chicago. Same thing with Atlanta. Atlanta is like a huge support system when it comes to that. Like, I had a conversation with somebody in Atlanta, and I like was jokingly saying that I wanted to tap into like some type of entertainment industry, and they was still willing to give me the resources regardless if I wanted to do it or not. But see, with Chicago, if you ask for a resource, it's like, well, what you want to talk to this person for? Why you want to do this and why you want to do that? It's just like, because I want to expand just like you're expanding. You wouldn't want me to expand just like you? Like, you're an inspiration to me. What's the problem? And so that is what's stopping Chicago from getting to where it should have been for a long time now. Yeah.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Just, it's like, that's what I've been feeling. It's like a blockage.
Yeah,
and
it's a huge blockage.
And it's like within our own space.
Yeah.
Because we have an industry here. That's one thing that's facts.
Huge. Talent is like more than impeccable here. Like, even like with the drill sound, like that's even gone international. You know what I mean? So it's like, if the sound has gone international, why haven't the people gone international? That's a problem for me, because it's like, man, there's so much talent here and y'all not seeing this. You know what I mean? The most what some artists might get is a few views, and that's it. You know what I mean? But if you could take somebody from a different state, or if you can even take somebody from Chicago and put them in LA, they're more likely to skyrocket there than they are in the city of Chicago. And that disappoints me.
Is it
like for real?
Is it like a media thing or platform? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like do you feel like that we can improve on to help that?
I think it's a Chicago thing. Okay. I don't think it's just media. It's just engineers. It's just artists. I think it's a Chicago thing. I think that Chicago needs to realize we need each other, if that makes any sense. So like, if you're a producer, I need you as an artist, because you're going to be the main source as to why I'm even working on this record. And if you're an engineer, you're doing everything to smooth over my voice. You know what I mean? So giving credit where credit is due, I think that's one thing that's going to really like help us spiral into where we need to be, because that's where they do everywhere else, you know? So, yeah.
Preaching.
You're
preaching.
Talk to him.
I mean, as we get ready to wrap things up,
Yeah.
I mentioned that you also like help curate events and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But before I even bring that up, if I'm not mistaken, remember the last time we talked a little while ago, didn't you win an award for something? If I'm not mistaken?
I did. Okay, so currently I'm being nominated for the Black Excellence Award. And I also kind of got an award via songwriting as well. Songwriting I've kind of put on the back burner, but that's where I got my reward from, yeah.
What song was it, if you don't mind sharing? Talk to us now.
I'll say it's a mainstream artist.
Okay.
That's as much as I can really go pertaining to that. But honestly, though, like, it was the best experience. Shout out to Jay Kane for actually tapping me in with the artist that I ended up working with. So, yeah.
And royalties still pouring in.
Royalties are still pulling in.
Get that money, girl.
Now, with the events, because I know you were part of the recent Music Cares joint with
I was.
Vivid Seats.
Yeah.
Where Lupe, Common, Chris Classic. Who else was part of Add To?
Add To.
And there was one other.
The Noob Educator.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, when it comes to these events, like, what's most important for you when it comes to creating these spaces to bring people out? Because to my knowledge, that was a panel.
That was a panel.
And that's not the only event that, you've helped, I'm gonna say you've helped with. So when it comes to these events, like, what is it, something that specifically catches your attention that makes you want to be a part of it?
So shout out to Ad. He thought that because I was such an advocate for music, that it was very important for me to be a part of the committee for this year. He also added on a lot of other phenomenal individuals as well from the Chicago community. And honestly, like, even outside of that, like, I do, I'm a brand manager for a promotional group here in the city of Chicago called Ice House. So what I do is I, curate events with them, lock down deals with these venue spaces, especially the tough venue spaces here in the city of Chicago that most Black and brown people cannot always receive or, like, get access to. And I think just like what helps me succeed in those spaces, or what motivates me to be present in those spaces and curate, is just being behind the scenes and creating what the event can actually look like and how it can actually touch someone. Good thing about this Music Here events is Ad took a huge lead in this, and I actually followed him in this space. But in the spaces of the other events that I've curated, I normally take the lead in it, and then I come together with another group and we kind of collectively create an idea. So I won't just entirely put it on me and say it's just me. Like, it's a unit anytime I'm working on any event.
And you spoke on venues.
Yes.
So for those artists out there, or in general, what are these venues, like, shying away from, not really trying to book, that, you feel people should know and pay attention to so they can clean up their acts?
I mean, if you really want to sum it up, they think we ghetto. You know what I mean? And it's tough. And it's like, there are people like myself who obviously, like, can articulate very well and can have these types of conversations, who can conduct themselves. There's a lot of Black and brown people who are in any form of business here in the city of Chicago. Let's start there. So let's not undermine them. But, people already have, like, this preconceived notion on how Black people are, how they party. It might be a fight, it might be this, it might be that, but it's not just us that party like that. It's also the other folks, and we ain't got to get into which ones, but it's also the
mosh
other
pits.
Mosh
or they
pitting it
be
up.
knocking over cars and beating up stuff with, like, it's just like, okay, let's show you a different representation. And so that's where I come in to show, like, okay, this is a woman that's about her stuff. We can do an event with y'all. You know what I mean? And shout out to Ice House. Like, they're Alpha, Phi Alpha Incorporated brand. And what I love about them is they are all businessmen. Like, they're either working in education, they're working as managers. Like, that's something that I highly respect. So that's why I've been working with them closely as of recently. Well, actually, I'll say for the past 2 years now, I've been working with them closely to ensure, like, they're about to be the next big thing here in the city of Chicago.
You part of it.
Yeah.
And congrats again on
thank
your
you.
new journey with Classic Studios.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
You got to give people your social so they can get in tune with you and stay stay in the loop of all the things that's coming soon.
Yeah, so my socials she is Ash Nicole. That's on all socials except for Facebook. It's Ashley Nícole.